cocktail aficionados. It's John Moser with another edition of Cocktails Out of Quarantine. This is a special episode because I have been challenged to find a cocktail that is made from a not particularly common spirit, and that spirit is Grappa. Let me tell you the story. My friend Chuck Piscatello, who lives right up the street from me, brought me a lovely jar of homemade Grappa and said, John, can you find a recipe for a Grappa cocktail? And there aren't a whole lot of them out there. I looked through and found some promising ones. The thing is, Grappa is strong. I mean, if you're not familiar with Grappa, it's basically Italian moonshine. You take all the leftovers from the winemaking process and you distill it, and you get this really fiery liqueur. It's technically a brandy, I suppose, that has it has a strong alcoholic taste up front, but then you get the aftertaste of grape. So it's actually well worth drinking within moderation, and if it's well worth drinking, it's well worth making a cocktail from. So to stand up to this strong taste of Grappa, you gotta find the right ingredients. So it's not surprising that one of the favorites is a Grappa sour, which is essentially a whiskey sour, but with Grappa substituted for the whiskey. And it makes sense because whiskey is another very strong taste. If you're gonna use it in a cocktail, you've gotta find flavors that are gonna enhance it, but also gonna stand up to it. Right, so I've talked about the spectrum before. You've got bourbon or rye on the one end, you've got vodka on the other, which kind of fades away when you add anything to it. Grappa is certainly closer to the whiskey end of that spectrum. So I'm going to show you how to make a Grappa sour. If you've seen my video on how to make a whiskey sour, you're going to find it's practically identical. We're going to serve it in a different glass over ice instead of straight up in a cocktail glass. Anyway, here's what you're going to need. First of all, I've already shown you the Grappa. You can buy Grappa commercially, but why not use the homemade? Oh, I really like that smell. We're going to use simple syrup. You can make that yourself also, but I happen to have this bottle of it. And we're going to use lemon, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice. Always use fresh if you can. And then we are going to mix it with egg white. A lot of people are freaked out at using raw egg white. You can get pasteurized egg white in a carton. I'm going to use this. I like to live dangerously, and that's all you need. Yeah, but if you don't want to use egg white, period, you're just creeped out by the idea, skip it. Just like in a regular whiskey sour, you can make a perfectly respectable whiskey sour with just whiskey and lemon juice and simple syrup. You don't need the egg white for that, but I like it. I think it adds a lot of texture to a cocktail, so feel free to omit it if it's not your thing, all right? So that's what we're gonna need. Let's make the drink. All right, since we are using egg white, we are going to start with an empty shaker. No ice in there, we'll be dry shaking it. And we begin with 1.5 ounces of the Grappa. Pour that right in. 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice. I have a whole other lemon in case this half lemon doesn't yield enough, but I think it probably will. Oh yeah, no problem there. 3/4 ounce easily from that half lemon. 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Pour that right in. And finally, here's the tricky part, we separate the egg. Crack it along the middle, pull it open. All right, so there goes the egg white. We're gonna keep the yolk separate. I think that is going to be plenty. Ooh, let me get that off there. Right, this is why people are freaked out about egg white. It's like snot, the texture of snot, but trust me, it's good. Throw that away, seal it up, And we're gonna shake this for a good long time, right? Longer than I'm going to make you watch. At least 30 seconds, if not more. So we're gonna come back when I'm done. I have shaken this enough that my arms are tired. Probably about a minute's worth of shaking, but I like this to be really blended, really emulsified. Ooh, it's popping off. All right. I don't really need to strain it. There's nothing to strain out. There's no ice in here. And I'm simply going to pour it over an old-fashioned glass full of ice. There we go. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of lemon rind as a garnish, just to make it look pretty. Clip the, trim the edges of this. There we go. The Grappa Sour. Let me give this a try. That is nice. Yeah, the lemon and the simple syrup stand up to the Grappa, but you certainly don't lose the Grappa. You've got that strong grapey taste. I like this drink. All right, Chuck, here's your Grappa cocktail, the Grappa Sour. Until next time, cheers.